Welcome back to One News at 4:30. The FBI has announced it's investigating whether or not Rupert Murdoch's News of the World hacked the voicemails of 9/11 victims and their families. The latest revelations come as Murdoch, his son James and former News of the World editor Rebekah Brooks will have to appear before a UK parliamentary committee into hacking and bribery. Here's the BBC's James Landale.
Parliament has already cost them the News of the World and B-Sky B, but now it wants to hold Rebekah Brooks and James and Rupert Murdoch to account, to answer the questions that MPs and the public one asked about just why so many people's phones were hacked in the name of news. It was a summons, in the end, they could not ignore. At first, they were reluctant witnesses. In a letter this morning, Rupert Murdoch told the Culture Committee he couldn't attend next Tuesday's session. However, I am fully prepared to give evidence to the forthcoming judge-led public inquiry. James Murdoch also said he couldn't come. Rebekah Brooks, however, the chief executive of News International, said, "I am available to appear before the committee on that date and welcome the opportunity to do so." But she said she wouldn't be able to discuss anything that related to the ongoing police investigation into hacking. Here in the corridors of Westminster, the talk was of a formal summons for the Murdochs, a fine, even imprisonment in the bowels of Parliament. And within hours, it appeared the threat had worked. The Murdochs changed their minds and said they would now be coming to answer MPs' questions next week. But whatever the forum, the questions keep coming. Why did the News of the World mislead Parliament over phone hacking? Why were some victims paid to keep quiet? And why did the management fail to find out what was going on and stop it? And as for Miss Brooks, she'll be asked about what she told MPs last time.
We have paid the police for information in the past.
Tonight in an interview, Rupert Murdoch insisted his company had handled the crisis extremely well, denied he would sell his newspapers, and said he would use next week's appearance to establish our integrity in the eyes of the public.
In the UK, 5 men have been killed in an explosion believed to have been caused by an illegal still. Police say the men died instantly in the blast in an industrial unit in Lincolnshire and that illegal alcohol was being made there. Earlier this year, authorities seized fake vodka from 6 stores in the town of Boston, which has a large Eastern European population. A suicide bomb has killed at least 4 people during the memorial service for the assassinated half-brother of Afghan President Hamid Karzai. Ahmed Wali Karzai was shot at close range by his bodyguard. His death has increased concern about instability in the region. A number of high-profile officials were at the service but weren't among the dead. It's believed the bomber smuggled the explosives past security by hiding them in his turban. South Sudan has officially become the latest member of the United Nations. The African nation, which gained independence on Saturday, has become the UN's 193rd member. South Sudan's independence is the climax of a 2005 peace agreement that ended decades of civil war with the Arab-dominated North. In a subsequent referendum, South Sudan voted overwhelmingly for secession. The earliest surviving Jane Austen manuscript, a handwritten draft of a book that was never completed, has sold at auction for just under $2 million. Fierce bidding from around the world pushed the sale price of Austen's 68-page novel The Watsons to 3 times the estimate, although many still consider it invaluable.
Of course, seeing Jane Austen's handwriting, this object that she actually touched, is quite different from reading the printed book.
In the unfinished novel, the heroine of the story was the daughter of a clergyman, a character the author planned to kill off. But many believe Jane Austen abandoned the novel when her own father died. Lady Gaga has left Australia after a visit full of her usual drama and the unconventional use of a wheelchair. Here's Channel 9's Peter Harvey.
Finally, after just 6 whirlwind days, Gaga had to go. But not without a final serenade. One of her own monster hits, Telephone. The lady stopped, listened, and liked. Then she left the Four Seasons Hotel and Sydney behind.
I had the most amazing time in Sydney.
Officially, an all-time exclusive Gaga live show. Heading inside, 800 selected guests, including celebrity blogger Perez Hilton. And then the place went on. Some familiar songs. And something new. You and I. With Gaga dressed as a mermaid in a wheelchair. It all ended with a word of thanks to Australia.
I broke here in Australia before anywhere else in the world.
Then she was gone. Last seen walking through Sydney Airport's international terminal. Incognito, of course.
Just ahead, a little dose of reality, your weekend weather. And it's time to say goodbye to the boy wizard. Our movie reviewer casts an eye over the last chapter in the Harry Potter saga.
I say we jump now!